our keynote speaker, in fact, is a very, very unique person. Now, most of the professional speakers would like to probably boast about their success, but he's here to actually share about his failures. He's also appeared on several newspapers, radio, and television shows to share his stories of failure. We heard his inspirational story and decided to invite him to share that story with all of us at this conference. So his mission is in fact to share lessons of his failures so that we can learn from those failures and avoid those failures. And for those who've taken a good look at the agenda, the topic is really interesting. It says, the 3 worst mistakes we can make to sabotage our future. Ladies and gentlemen, please help me welcome on stage the CEO of Trineum Academy, none other than Mr. Eugene Seah.
Thank you so much, Kavya. Isn't she gorgeous? One more round of applause for Kavya. Can I please invite everyone here to stand up? I'm going to do a survey right now. Please stand up. I'm going to do a very quick survey. It will just take less than a minute. Okay, I'm going to ask a question, and depending on your answer, you can sit down, depending on your answer. There are 3 kinds of people when it comes to the change and future. 3 kinds of people. The first kind, they make change happen. They create the future. The second kind, they let it happen. Want to guess the third kind? They wonder what happened. So may I invite you, if you think that you are those who wonder what happened, can you please sit down? Wow, very humble. And those who think that you allow change in the future to happen, please sit down. And those who think you're in the category of making change happen, please give yourself a round of applause. These are the future makers. Ladies and gentlemen, please take a seat. Since I was a small little boy, and by the way, this quote came from a systems design engineer, John Richardson. When I was a small little boy, around 17 years old, can you recognize which is me, by the way? The one in the middle here, the most handsome guy, that is me. When I was 17 years old, I decided I am going to be category number 1. I am going to make change happen. I'm going to create the future. And therefore, I had to study very, very, very hard. I was in the top school in Singapore. I came from Singapore, by the way. I'm in the top school in Singapore and one of the top students. The reason why there's this photo is because I'm the president of the Students' Council in the top school of Singapore. And my parents were very proud. They're thinking, wow, my son is going to create the future. Wow. All of us can roughly guess where this story is going. And I won the prestigious scholarship in the Singapore Stock Exchange. Everybody in Singapore wants to be in the financial industry. Can you guess why? Yeah, salary. Ooh, ka-ching, ka-ching. I wanted to be in the financial industry, and I studied for free. Singapore Stock Exchange gave me a 4-year scholarship, so I didn't pay anything, and gave me allowance. And my parents were very proud once again. My son is going to create the future. And the management of Singapore Stock Exchange, wow, it had a clear career path for me. Every few months, I could rotate around different projects so that I could help Singapore Stock Exchange create the future of the financial industry. In 2008, do you know what happened in 2008? The financial crisis. In that year, my salary doubled. Surprise, surprise. One of the Japanese banks, which I'll show right now, both of these are Japanese. Not very obvious, right? Chinese, Japanese. It looks somewhat similar. So both of these are Japanese. And they hired me so that I could bring up the market share of this particular bank. At the time, their market share was 0.05%, very, very pathetic. And after 3 years, I could bring it up to a whopping 2%. That's humongous change in those times. And I felt very proud of myself. Yes, this is what I am born for. I studied so hard in my life so that I could create the future, and here I was, creating the future. I was highly sought after as a banker, and I moved to Hong Kong in 2011. Hong Kong, to run the region. Who here has been to Hong Kong? Raise your hands, please. Do you like Hong Kong? Those who love Hong Kong, wave your hands. I love Hong Kong. People talk fast, work longer. They are very dynamic. And that's why I moved my entire family, 3 kids, my wife, all to Hong Kong. And I wanted to learn and grow and challenge myself so that I could create the future. Yes. Well, you can guess my script by now. And suddenly, in 2013, November, the Japanese management asked me to go into the office. Wow, so exciting. They must have recognized the fact that I created the future. They must have seen my potential to bring the Japanese bank forward to become a global giant. And when I entered the room, I was so proud. Yes, it is time to be promoted to become a managing director. My boss smiled at me. Good morning, Eugene. And handed me a letter. What's this? And when I opened the letter, it said that, Eugene, your role has been made. Wow! How do you know? My role has been made redundant. What is going on? There's something seriously wrong. I studied hard, just like my parents told me to. Right? I worked hard. I went home at about 11 plus every single night in the investment bank. I worked really, really hard. And I scolded people really hard when I was running the region. I felt proud of my achievement, and yet the bank at the time, I shall reveal the name now, Nomura is a Japanese bank, they didn't recognize my effort. Instead of promoting me to managing director, they let me go. At that point of time, it came as a shock. All throughout my life, I had been seen as successful, right? Scholar, top student, looked pretty well, and yet, the bank just let me go like this. In fact, do you know how many minutes they gave me to leave the building? May I guess? 5. Wow! Yes! Why don't you know my entire script? 5 minutes. In 5 minutes' time, I had to leave the building, but I wasn't prepared. I thought I was going to get promoted, remember? So I didn't bring my bag, and I said, okay, can I at least go back to my desk to collect my bag? And guess their reply? Yes, of course you can. Let our security guard escort you. I'm not a criminal. Why should the security guard escort me to my own desk? Would you? Who here would like the security guard to escort you? Especially for men, right? I see a room, mostly men here. Men, with this thing starting with E, what do you call it? Ego! There's no way on earth am I going to allow a security guard to escort me to my own desk. I'm going to leave the building with dignity. And they can use DHL to courier my bag. No problem. And by the way, just in case you ever get retrenched, okay, touch wood, you do not have to carry around a cardboard box, okay? Those are only in the Hollywood movies. Just ask DHL to help you. Okay? There's no need to carry around a cardboard box. So I could leave the building with dignity. And so on that day, that fateful afternoon, November 2013, I learned something very painful. That I'm not a guy who helps to create the future. In fact, I'm not the guy who allows the future to happen. Guess which category I was? The third one. I wonder what had happened to me. I became redundant, and because of that, I became irrelevant. Irrelevant to the industry, irrelevant to society. And in a very painful realization, I became irrelevant to my own family. You see, I was the sole breadwinner of a large family. I had 3 kids. I still have 3 kids. I have a wife who's a homemaker, and I have 2 elderly parents, all counted on me. Tell me, how many mouths do I have to feed using one salary? You guys are pretty good in mathematics, right? How many mouths is that? 7, thank you. Who said 6? That, you excluded me, right? So including me, it's 7. Can you imagine that one single salary had to feed 7 people? Okay, I'm a bit curious right now. Who here is in a similar situation as me? Like one single salary feeding your whole family? Can you just raise your hand? Well, a round of applause for these amazing breadwinners. Thank you. I'm very, very impressed whenever one person can work very hard and provide for the family. But because of my loss of job, I became irrelevant. Since I could no longer bring money, then what good is a Chinese middle-aged man if I cannot provide bread to my own family? And I started to panic. I panicked. I was wondering, where is my income coming from? I started applying job after job after job after job. Anyone knows people like me? You know, just keep sending resumes to lots of companies? No? No? Okay, so today you know one person at least. I sent out resumes, hundreds of resumes in a 9-month period. And want to guess how many companies offered me a job?
0.
Thank you. 0. You heard my whole script before. 0. 0 companies wanted me. Hey, what's wrong with me? I thought I studied hard. I worked hard. I'm fairly intelligent. I have no disability. I didn't go to prison before. I'm not a drug addict. I don't understand why no company wanted me. Some said I was too old. Some said my degree was irrelevant. And I could not find a single job. I started to panic. Do you know these 3 words? R.I.P. Rest in peace. Today, I'm invited here to share with you my failure as a cautionary tale. It is an analogy of what would happen to you, to your company, or worse, to your entire industry if you're not prepared for the future. So are we now ready, mentally ready to learn how to prepare for the future? Who's ready? Just raise your hand. Okay, awesome. Hey, give yourself a round of applause. Let's bring up the energy of this room. So the news featured me just now, as Kavya said, and this is my family, just to prove to you I do have 3 kids. And in Singapore, and who has been to Singapore? Who has been to Singapore? In Singapore, there's very cheap food. Did you know this? You can go to any hawker center and, what do you call it? Chinatown. Chinatown, yes, thank you. You can go to Chinatown, you can go to Little India. You can go to any hawker center or food court and order something called the economy rice. Something similar to the economy flight. It is amazing. And for people who are jobless like me, I could choose to go to such a stall and pick any vegetable I want with rice, and it cost me less than $2. How amazing is that? You know, Singapore is well known as one of the most costly places to live, right? It's featured in the newspaper all the time. But I tell you, if you're willing to eat this, it won't be costly at all. Every single day, I walk past McDonald's. You know what's the cheapest meal in McDonald's? $5. $5 around the world. It's called value meal. And I could not afford the McDonald's value meal. Even students carrying backpacks could afford the McDonald's value meal. I don't know where their money comes from. They even could buy Starbucks. I don't understand where their money comes from. These are students. And yet I could not afford Starbucks. I could not afford McDonald's. I had to eat this every single day. Okay, let me clarify. There's nothing wrong with eating this every day. You know, I'm not homeless. I wasn't anywhere close to starvation. But something took a hit. It starts with the letter E. Remember? My ego. My ego took a hit. How can a top scholar, a top student, one of the employees of the financial industry who gets promoted almost every 2 years, and an expat in Hong Kong managing the region. How can I eat this every single day? How can I not afford McDonald's value meal? This is the pain I was going through, and I do not wish that upon you. When we are not careful, we end up becoming redundant, irrelevant, and we start to panic. So, we now live in a VUCA world where I'm sure over the past 2 days you have seen and heard so many people, so many companies have started changing and disrupting their business models, acquiring other companies, and some who have attended BICSI in the past few years, some of these companies, they were in trouble and they are no longer here. It is a very scary environment. Who here has heard of the phrase VUCA? V-U-C-A? Okay, minority. Let me explain what is VUCA. V is volatile. By the way, VUCA is not invented by me. It is created, this phrase is created by the US military to prepare for the future of the military world. And now, business owners use it in the business world. Okay, so if this brings any value to you, please feel free to take a picture or just note down on your iPad. Volatile changes happen very, very quickly, just like volatile liquids. Uncertain. Even the experts, the PhD holders, they have no idea where is the industry going. Remember Nokia? Remember BlackBerry? These are highly intelligent people. And they had no idea what hit them. Till today, they're still analyzing, oh, what if I did that? What if I did this? Uncertain, complex. Hardware makers make software, software make hardware, network providers start to provide AI systems for automobile, for smartphones. Things are merging. You realize that? Everyone is interdependent. No one can say, sorry, I only produce semiconductor. Don't talk to me about AI. You can't. All of us are interconnected. If China sneezes, US catches a flu. It's very scary. And finally, A is for ambiguous. Nobody knows the answer anymore. You can ask your managing director, what does the future hold, sir? Please note down his answer. Many managing directors do not know the answer. They're just closing their eyes and grappling in the dark. So in this VUCA world, we've seen many victims. Please feel free to take a picture as well. In the hotel industry, okay, who here has stayed in something called Airbnb before? Just raise your hand. And who here would consider staying in something called Airbnb? Consider. Wow. And who would never consider that? I will never stay in an Airbnb. Okay. By the way, do you know what's Airbnb? Essentially, in many places around the world, you can let total strangers stay in your house. Amazing, isn't it? And guess who is the victim in such a fast change industry? Make a guess. Sheraton, you think? Ritz-Carlton? Shangri-La? These people have huge assets sitting there, and if not enough tourists goes to their rooms, they're still burning every single month. Do you realize that? It is very scary. How can a humble homeowner like me disrupt Shangri-La, a giant in the hospitality industry? This is in the hospitality. How about in the transportation? Have you heard of Uber? In Singapore, we have something called Grab. Uber sold their stake to Grab. And now, it's like anything just comes out of thin air, like Ride, for example, Gojek, for example. Any country, any young guy below the age of 25 just codes something on his laptop and he starts to disrupt giants in Singapore. Huge fleet of taxi and cabs. I tell you, life is topsy-turvy nowadays. It's crazy. I don't have time to go through every single industry, but do you see where this is going? Anybody, your neighbor, the 22-year-old girl, anybody could be a threat to your company, to your livelihood, to your job. Who knows what I'm talking about? Who can feel it in your industry right now? Can you just raise your hand? I just want to make sure we are speaking along the same wavelength. Okay, wonderful. So is it time to panic? Let's get ready for the future. There are three biggest mistakes that we can make after listening to this speech today. The first is called too clever. You can be too clever for your own good. I see a lot of people here who look very intelligent. You can probably speak on stage for hours about your particular technology or product. What kind of strange keynote is this? What three worst mistakes you can make? Doesn't sound relevant to my industry. I'd rather be learning about technology. I know that already. Hey, please attend something for brain programming, for leadership. No, I know that already. I've been a leader since student days. No problem. I don't need to attend any courses on leadership. Oh, brain reprogramming? I don't believe in it. No. My brain is mine. I'm not going to reprogram it. There's nothing wrong with my brain. So these people, something happens to them. They stop learning. I am very thankful to BICSI. Year after year, in many regions around the world, they organize conferences and exhibitions like this, so that we don't stop learning. Can we give BICSI a round of applause? We need them. And guess what? We cannot just wait for BICSI to organize the next conference. In between the conferences, we need to learn. We need to network. And that's one of the reasons why Caviar asked all of you to sit around the table. I realize that sometimes we can be seated beside each other, and after 2 hours, we still don't know each other's industry or name. So can you do yourself a favor? Right after my speech, just turn around, say hi, who are you? And maybe this is your potential business partner. Don't you think? So it's very important we never stop learning. This is a classic case study of a victim, starting with M. Who here used to carry a Nokia phone? Wow, and who here is still carrying a Nokia phone? Okay. Thank you for providing jobs to Nokia. So few. How can all of us be unfaithful all at the same time? I thought you had brand loyalty. I thought you carried Nokia phone. I remember every single year they launched something new. Suddenly it is clamshell, right? Suddenly it's flip. Suddenly it's pearl color, pink color. All they can fiddle around with are the external design. The software remained essentially the same. I could hardly browse the web on a Nokia phone. Do you remember those days? It's pathetic. And if I want to serve email, I have to buy something else called the BlackBerry. Wow. Those were the days where you carry around a BlackBerry like a status symbol. Like, wow, you must be a banker, man. You're carrying a BlackBerry. And so on your left pocket, there's a BlackBerry. In your right pocket, there's a Nokia. And now it has become a laughing stock. No one carries around a BlackBerry or a Nokia, except this pretty lady over there. And most of us carry what? Smartphones, right? Android phones, Apple phones. I'm not going to ask you to raise your hand. I heard there's a war between Samsung and Apple, so I'm not going to start any civil war here. I'm an Apple fan, by the way. Okay. And I realized there's something wrong with Nokia. Do you know, I'm sure all of us are in this industry, have heard stories, that Nokia actually knew that Apple was producing the iPhone before they launched it in the market. Who heard of this story before? Nokia knew, right? So how can, just imagine you're in Nokia and you're seated in a board meeting and you're discussing like, oh, what is the future going to be like? We must be prepared to gain market share. And then someone comes in the room and says, excuse me, sir, do you know that Apple is producing a phone? And guess what is their reaction? Apple. Don't they make like MP3 players, music players? Don't they make laptops? Like, what are they doing in the phone market? Don't bother. It is a passing fad. Is it a passing fad? It disrupted the entire industry. And not only did Apple disrupt the phone industry, what other industries have they disrupted since they launched the iPhone? Just shout out. The watch industry. What else? The tablet industry. Yes. Credit cards, yeah. They just launched a credit card. All the best to MasterCard and Visa. And what else? Publishing, right? Publishing music. I can go on and on. And they haven't even reached halfway point, I tell you. They haven't even reached halfway point. Everything as you see it nowadays, from the microphone to your home to a refrigerator. Important call for me. Everything you see around you, in the hotel, in your house, in your factory, I'm very sure it is going to be disrupted by IoT, by the smartphone technology. You wouldn't know what hit you. I don't want any of us here to end up in the third category. Like what happened? We were doing so well just 5 years ago. What happened? So please, let Nokia be your cautionary tale. And the second, please feel free to take note, is too comfortable. We have such a major market share in our region. What can possibly happen to us? Every Saturday come, let's go and play golf. I heard that some companies have a training budget for golf. Any company here belongs to that category? A training budget for golf? Wow, amazing. That's really luxurious living. So, the poison for a too comfortable mindset is, let's do something safe. This sounds a little bit too risky, you know. Yeah, let's do something safe. Who here has a research and development function? Can you raise your hand? Research and development function? No? Okay. Time to relook into it. Can you imagine? Do you know most of our zippers, I'm not going to unzip it, don't worry. Most of our zippers are produced by the same company. Anybody knows what that company name is? It's listed in Japan. YKK. YKK is never comfortable. They are my client, by the way. I coach their leaders. YKK has a research and development function doing what? I mean, how can a zipper possibly improve? A zipper is a zipper, right? It's super low tech. Can you have a smart zipper? Like, can you imagine? Like I'm holding a phone here, I'm holding another thing here, a Starbucks drink, and I cannot unzip, so like... Oh yeah! In fact, everything reconnected that they know I entered the toilet. And I'm standing right in front of a urinal. It's ridiculous. I mean, it sounds like a joke today, but I'm sure one day it will come true. No. YKK is not producing smart zipper. The research and development department is trying to produce any kind of fasteners, anything else, like can be Velcro, can be strings, anything, buttons that will possibly disrupt the zipper. Is that a smart move? What do you think? Extremely smart. I mean, if you want to be disrupted, then better it be your own guys and some unknown competitor. Make sense? They are very smart. I tell you, YKK, today, on this day, I'm going to put my head on the chopping board. YKK will survive for decades. For decades. It's amazing. But not for another company. Let me show you that company. This company stopped evolving. They do have a R&D, but they usually put the worst people there. You know, people who may leave the company. They're thinking like, since you can't produce and attract profit, I might as well put you somewhere. Like, let's put you in the R&D department. And this happened, this victim. Kodak. In 1975, Kodak created the first digital camera in the world. Who knew this? And you read it in the article, right? Can you believe it? Kodak, the film company, actually had a very smart engineer who came to the management and said, Sir, the future is here. I created the world's first digital camera. No longer need for the film. Would you like to guess what the management said? I think we can start to see the ending becoming very predictable. The management said, why would you do such a thing? What? Do you know that what will happen if we launch the digital camera? People will stop buying our film. And you know how many % of our profit comes from film? Don't be stupid. And this guy left the company 1 year later. Please, I appeal to you today. You're not seated here just to listen to my story. My story is irrelevant to you. Please, this is a cautionary tale. Don't just point a finger at Kodak and laugh at them. We could become like Kodak. If we don't know what is the future going to be like in your own industry, if you're not creating a department to disrupt your own product, then somebody else from some part of the world is going to disrupt your product at some point. Does this make sense? So it rather come from you than from external party. Or at the very least, meet some people here around the booth who may disrupt your industry and partner them. Okay? Turn your competitor into your partner. This is the story of Kodak. Finally, please write down. So the first is too clever, second is too comfortable, and the third is too cold. Okay, this word sounds a bit odd in an ICT conference. What's too cold? What does too cold mean? Let me give you an example. When a company becomes too cold, when management becomes too cold, they will say things like, just focus on the tech. Just focus on all these engineering. Focus. And when we are focusing on engineering and tech, what is our possible blind spot? Just shout it out. What's that? No? It starts with the letter P. People. Heard of this word before? I realized after coaching for 5 years, I coach in a lot of semiconductor firms, ICT, technology, IT, cybersecurity firms, and I realized there's a common pattern. That a lot of management like to focus on technology. And in the process, they forget that real life human beings, people with flesh and blood, with blood flowing inside them, people with family members, young women who just gave birth, men like me who are afraid of being displaced, who have become something called zombie. You heard of zombie? You know zombies? Who has watched a zombie movie before? Either from US or Korea. You know what zombies are like, right? They look like they are alive because they're moving around like but you know that they are dead. The brain stopped moving, the heart stopped pumping, and corporate zombies are the same. I was a corporate zombie, so I'm not judging other people. I sat at my office desk before I was retrenched, and every day I was thinking, meeting, KPI, lunch, okay, lunch. Oh, 6 o'clock, time to leave. Oh, I cannot leave, there's a meeting. It's horrible. My colleagues could see my body in the office, but my heart and my brain, they are no longer there. I'm thinking of, maybe I should plan for Hokkaido, maybe I should plan for Hawaii. My heart and mind are no longer engaged at work. I became a zombie. And when company management focuses on processes too much, technology too much, and neglect that they have real life human beings, then we become too cold. And we start to have disengaged employees. In fact, even some senior management, because I do executive coaching as well, one-on-one, some senior management are totally disengaged. Can you imagine they're supposed to be running a team of 200 people and they don't want to be there? Can you make a guess why someone like that doesn't just resign and leave? Just shout out the answer. Money! Yes, thank you. Can you imagine if you're the managing director or the CEO or the deputy CEO and you hate your job, right? Can you just leave and from 50K a month, 30K a month and just drop to zero? Very, very few people I know have this courage. And therefore they become a corporate zombie like me, although they are highly ranked corporate zombie. There is a classic victim and this is less obvious. Anyone wants to guess who is the victim in this case? Let me review it to you. The entire IT industry. Did you know that last year, this was a survey done by LinkedIn Learning, that is a subsidiary called LinkedIn Learning. They did a survey across several countries, and the technology software industry has the highest turnover rate. That means people are leaving the company. Can you imagine you take pains to interview 20 staff for one position? And finally you found the one. And the person gets onboarded, goes for your orientation, gets his email ID, intranet, and then resigns. Do you know how costly this is? Some estimates go by this, that a new junior employee, fresh grad, if he leaves your company within the first 6 months, you are losing about 85% of his annual pay. And if it's a senior management who leaves your company within the first 6 months, then you are losing 1.5 times of his annual salary. Is that a lot of money to you? It's crazy. And yet, how many times have we gone into a company, a completely new employee, and most people don't even care about us? Do you notice that? They'll say hi to you, and then after 1 or 2 weeks, people don't really care about you. This happened to me when I first moved to Hong Kong. I was so excited. First time in my life, I was working overseas, and so rightly so, I felt like a little boy. Like, whoopee, wow! New office, new colleagues, new job scope, everything is so exciting. And on that day, my management and my colleagues went to lunch without me. What's wrong with them? Okay, who here has invited a new employee to lunch before? That you have done so? Okay, 7 people? 8, okay, thank you. Thank you for being good human beings. Give yourself a round of applause. This is an example of people who are not too cold. They are not too cold to care. That yes, I know you are busy with meetings, you are busy with key performance indicators, but there's a new colleague. Shouldn't you take some time and just mentor him, bring him out for lunch? And yet, people in the tech industry are just too busy juggling all your technology, ICT projects to care about a human being. And that's why there's a high turnover. Of course, there are other reasons, for example, poaching by other companies. Let's talk about money for a while, shall we? I keep hearing management tell me that people leave their company because of money. Okay, here's something from my heart. I don't believe it. I don't believe it. It is true that some competitor offered maybe $500 more per month. But the person did not just leave for money. What else could he have left for? May I guess? Working environment. More recognition. Maybe the prestige of a certain brand. There are many intangibles. You notice that? It's not just money. There are many intangibles. Are you aware of this company starting with the letter G? And if you go to their office, you will see ping pong tables. Google, right? Like, what is wrong with this company? Why would you want to put a ping pong table in the middle of the office and distract your employees? What is like going on in this company? Are they making a mistake? What is the purpose of the ping pong table? To allow the employees to de-stress, to relax, to bond, correct? I tell you, they are very smart, and now they are starting a new trend. Almost every new startup wants a ping pong table. There's no need for a ping pong table. You can have arcade games, table soccer, carom boards, guitar, anything. The key idea is this, that it's real human beings, fathers, mothers, sons, people working for your company. They need to de-stress. They need to relax. They need to behave and think and talk like a human being. Yesterday, I felt inspired with this phrase. Suddenly, I was walking along Dubai, and suddenly this phrase came to me, that if you work, talk, and think like a robot, you will soon be replaced by a robot. So in order to be relevant in the long term in your industry, you need to think, talk, and behave like a human. Thank you. And please treat your employees, your own team, as a human being. Who here leads a team? It could be 1 person, 5 people, 200 people. Wonderful. And who here would want, starting from today, to treat your team more like human beings? Give yourself a round of applause. I'm going to ask your team whether it's true. So the IT industry is in crisis right now. If the crisis continues, if people keep coming and going, how can you possibly innovate? I can't imagine. Your so-called research person, the person who's supposed to produce the next product, is leaving. There's no way you can catch up to the future. So these are the three solutions. Are you ready for the three solutions? Educate. Surprise. If you don't want to be too clever, then please educate yourself and educate your staff. And in this time and age, I'm going to threaten my own industry. In this time and age, you don't need to hire someone like me, go into your company and talk one full day. If you want to teach them something like innovation, do you know what you can do? There's something called the YouTube. I learned a lot of new things free on YouTube. And there are many other apps like Udemy, Coursera, LinkedIn Learning, many. And all these are free. If you want to learn anything for your staff or for yourself, please do yourself a favor and allocate at least 20% of your company time and budget on learning. Google, once upon a time, had a percentage of time where their employees could do anything. Would you like to guess what inventions came out of that 20% free time for Google? Just shout out some inventions. Gmail, thank you. Chrome. It's crazy. Chrome and Gmail has brought in so much revenue and profit to Google, and they were not top-down instructions. They were people who were just hanging around, playing ping pong, and suddenly, this is called a light bulb moment. And they say, hey, can we just stop playing ping pong for a while? Come to the pantry. And then they go to the whiteboard and they start to draw their flow charts and say, how about we take over Hotmail as the go-to email system? And voila, Gmail was born and Chrome was born. Please empower your employees, empower yourself. Have you heard of this saying? The best investment is in yourself. Yes. And that doesn't mean six-pack Gmail. It means education. Second one, experiment. Please note it down. I feel that very few companies nowadays experiment because it's seen as too risky. Oh, what if the experiment fails? I'm going to quote you a super cliche example. Just look up. You look at all these lights, right? They were supposedly invented by who? Edison, supposedly, okay? Apparently there's a team including Edison, so he shouldn't take sole credit for it. Yeah, but he is one of the key people who is responsible for us not burning kerosene lamps today. And do you know how many times he failed in his experiment? Thousands of times. Now, how many of us here would continue experimenting after the 10th failure? Who here would continue experimenting after the 10th failure? Thank you. We have one Thomas Edison there. More of us need to do that. How can we count on only one or two? Please, if you don't dare to fail, you will end up with creating nothing. You're just following past examples and standard operating procedure. The future will not be created by people who follow procedures, please. Right? History has already proven to us it's people who are willing to challenge the norm, fail multiple times. Anyone heard of the company called Alibaba? And who's the creator and the founder of Alibaba? Jack Ma. And has Jack Ma failed before? Many times. In fact, I think I'm very proud of my failure, but one other person I can think of who's even prouder is Jack Ma. Almost all his YouTube speeches are about his failure. Being rejected by the top US tertiary education, being rejected by KFC. There were 23 people going for a job and only one person couldn't get the job, and guess who that is? Jack Ma. He's very proud of his failures. And why is that so? Because failures in experiment lead to success. It's become such a cliche, I don't even like saying that. But yet, this common sense statement has not been prevalent in the ICT industry. Sometimes think about it as leaders. Just now I saw a lot of hands leading teams. As leaders, if your staff comes to you and say, I'm sorry, I failed, what is your response? We say like, whoa, let's celebrate, man. Let's go out for beer. Anyone does that? That you celebrate failure? Oh, shucks. Most people make your staff look bad, isn't it? So what's wrong with you? How many times do you want to fail? Can you stop doing that? Can you double check? And when you keep using this kind of language, what happens to your staff? May I guess? You start to learn something, right? That it's better to just follow the norm than to push the boundaries. So ask yourself. In fact, I'm going to go a little bit off point by talking about parenting because it's similar. Who here is a parent? You're a parent. Your children come to you, same thing. Daddy, sorry I failed. I got 38 out of 100. And what is your response? Woohoo! Anyone does that? No. Say, how come so careless? Did you study hard? And some even like take their belt and hit. Please report to the police when this happens. It's crazy. Do you know we are the same person? They're the same person. The way we talk to our staff, the way we talk to our customers, sometimes our supplier, we talk to our children. It's the same person. We make people feel bad when they fail. And that's why, over time, we learn not to experiment. Let me share with you more. Too cold. This is the answer. Please learn to engage your employees. Just the engagement alone is going to take another hour, so I'm not going to take too much of your time. Yeah, but write down this word first. Educate, experiment, and engage. These are the 3 best things you can do for your team. Case study time. Educate. In 2015, Google created another company. The company starts with the letter A. Anyone wants to guess what is that company? Alphabet. Do yourself a favor. After this talk, just Google the name Alphabet and read how many companies are under this huge conglomerate called Alphabet. Google is no longer just a search engine. If we think Google is just about searching for your next goodie bag, your next product and supply, it is no longer about that. They are into medical technology, they are into AI, they are into cybersecurity. The list is too long for me to name now. They are constantly educating themselves on what the future is like. I bet my last dollar Google will be relevant in this industry for a very, very long time if there's no corporate scandal, if there's no politics. They are ready for the future. They are creating the future. So please find out what Google is doing that could potentially disrupt your industry. The next one is experiment. Amazon. Do you know who's the richest person in the world today? Jeff Bezos. It used to be Bill Gates. In fact, it was Bill Gates for many, many years. And suddenly, Jeff Bezos became the richest person and his wife became, or ex-wife, became the richest woman. Amazing! Jeff Bezos was only selling one product only, long time ago. And what was that product? Books! Come on, be honest. Can you imagine if your cousin, your long-lost cousin comes to you and say, hey, hi, Tom, I decided to start a company and I would like to just create one website and I want to sell books, anybody who buys books, just go to my website and buy books. Would you invest your last dollar with your cousin? Who would? What? Nobody? This guy started with only selling books online, and today, how would you describe Amazon? They are giant in what space? Is it selling books? They are giant in e-retail, right? E-retail. In fact, that was so last year. Last year they were a giant in e-retail. And have you heard of Amazon Go? Amazon Go, who has heard of Amazon Go? Currently, in some stores, experimental stores, you can go in to a store, grab a drink or some snacks, and walk out without going to the cashier. In fact, there's no cashier. That's crazy. And is that called stealing? Is it stealing? So how can they possibly know that you bought which drink and therefore deduct your account with that price? How? Yeah, I mean, that's just one of the technology. RFID and a lot more. They have become interconnected. Don't underestimate Amazon, okay? I appeal to you. If you want to be relevant for a long time, if you don't want to panic, don't underestimate Amazon. In fact, if you're thinking of what to do with your salary, I would buy some Amazon shares. It's crazy. This Jeff Bezos guy is crazy. He's no ordinary human being. Whenever somebody looks down upon him, by the way, I was in investment banking, as you know, so a lot of shareholders sold the Amazon stock when Jeff Bezos said, I'm going into the hardware space. I'm going to produce and make something called the... What hardware does Amazon produce? Kindle. The Kindle, yeah. Before they produced the Kindle, a lot of Bloomberg News, Reuters News, they said, what is an e-commerce company doing making hardware? They're going to fail for sure. They should partner Apple, they should partner Microsoft. What are they doing trying to do their own Kindle? And today, is Kindle considered successful? It is extremely, extremely successful. I tell you, do not underestimate Amazon. If you do, they may eat into some of your market share. Okay, find out what you're doing and do more of it. In fact, be ahead of Amazon. And what you see right now, what do you call it? The drone. They're no longer happy with a van carrying products from one warehouse to your house. They are going to use drones. It hasn't become like everywhere yet. There are some videos on YouTube. Please go and watch it. They are scams. That means, you know, this huge Amazon mothership dispensing a lot of drones to send to your house. That is computer generated. It has not come true yet. But give them 5 years. Give them 5 years. I'm sure that will become norm. All the science fiction movies you watch, all the Total Recall, everything, this is coming true. Amazon is delivering goods through robots, no longer through the normal vans and human beings. And finally, let's take a look, just in case you don't believe me. This is the Amazon shares through the years, because they are willing to experiment. Even when their major shareholder tells them not to, and threaten to pull out stock, and threaten for their stock price to dip, Jeff Bezos just goes ahead anyway. Do you have the same kind of guts as Jeff Bezos? Finally, I would like to present to you one of the best companies to work for as voted by many employees around the world, Google. As you know by now, they have ping pong table. Did you know they also have beds? You know, beds, actual physical beds, so that employees can take a nap when they feel too tired. They also use top dollar to hire chefs. They poach chefs from the top 5-star hotels of the world so that their employees get the best nutritious organic meal within their compound. Is that employee engagement for you? That's pretty good, isn't it? And something that blows my mind. I'm based in Singapore, as you know, and I love to visit my friend working in Google, you know, for the free coffee, free food. And then I saw some children running around. Children! Most working mothers find it a struggle. You know, who's a working mother here? Working mother? There's no working mother in BICSI. Okay, I see. Okay, so there are three, four of you. Working mothers, I mean, my wife is a homemaker, so she's not a working mother. But I have many friends who struggle. They want to do their best at work. They want to meet clients. They want to meet their colleagues. But there's a toddler at home. They say, Mommy, can you not go to work? And then they post this toddler pulling their skirt, post it on Facebook and say, I'm torn. When can I achieve work-life balance? You can, if you work for Google. They bring children to work, it's crazy. Okay, of course, don't resign after my talk and work for Google. You know, change your company environment. I mean, if you are senior management here, what's stopping you from having more work-life balance? What's stopping you from allowing your working mother employee from bringing children sometimes, from working from home sometimes, from having flexi hours? It is 2019, April, for goodness sake. It is no longer 1985. But so many companies still have very old school employee practices. Please, for goodness sake, if you recognize the talent that this employee brings you, please treat her with some dignity, like a real life living human being, a mother with a child, not just a screw in your machine. Please. When you treat them like a robot, they become like a robot, and they become redundant after some time. I would like to end with this story, just to make sure I'm on time. Okay, I have 6 more minutes, thank you. So with the last 6 minutes, I would like to share with you a very important story. 2 years ago, one of my top clients came to me. They produced semiconductor, and they were first founded in the US. I will not name any names in case I accidentally reveal their company secret. And the management came to me and said, we are on a fast change mode right now. You know, we've just acquired some company, we've just let go of staff, we are on a roll. We're trying to change our technology, and they are very, very engaged in this space. But, year after year, when their employees do the employee engagement survey, let me pause right now. Who here does annual employee engagement surveys? Okay, minority. The rest of us might consider doing this so that you can read the mind of your employee before they actually resign. Okay? Yeah, so it's anonymous, by the way. Please do not force your employees to reveal their name. If not, you will never hear the truth. Okay? So anonymous survey, and he found out that year after year, as they disrupt the industry, as they acquire companies, change their products, acquire more customers, grow globally, that the employee engagement kept going down. And some very senior members of the team even tendered resignation. Like, what's going on? In terms of technology and processes, they are really up there. But in terms of employee engagement, they are going down. And if this trend continues, tell me what might happen to this company. What might happen? This company will start to lose customers. Are customers human beings? Customers want to talk to a human being. Did you realize that by now? That's why you go drinking with them, travel with them, send them gifts during birthday, pregnancy, and things like that. Because your customers are living beings, and they want to talk to another human being. Whether it's pre-sales, sales, post-sales, it doesn't matter. So two human beings need to be able to build rapport and connect. But when they see that your company has low employee engagement, and then people, especially millennials, millennials, people want to change the world, impact lives, want to be promoted next month. If people like that just keep leaving, then your customers' trust will get impacted. And very soon, they will treat you like a normal supplier, like a normal vendor. They'll start to compare prices only. No reputation to speak of, no relationship to speak of, purely comparing prices. Anyone here wants to be in a space where customers only compare price? Good, good. Then don't treat employees and customers like robots. They want to trust you. They want to engage you forever. Please increase the trust with happy employees. Would you like to know what advice I gave to my client? Anybody wants to know? Okay, so this is the last slide. It's something called the Maslow's hierarchy of needs. Please feel free to take a picture. This is a free gift for you today. If you can apply this Maslow's hierarchy in your office, I tell you, in 1 year's time, your employees will become happier and produce better work. I guarantee that. And if they don't, you can always engage my service. Okay, let's start with the bottom. I'm left with 2 minutes. This is what we call bread and butter issues. Your employees obviously have bread and butter issues. Please be sensitive to that. And that's why they always talk to you about money. But this is the lowest need. Don't keep talking about money and nothing else. Every year increment, every year huge bonuses are going to make you lose a lot of profit, impact your bottom line, and it's not going to solve the long-term problem. Let's go higher. Safety needs. In your context, it means they need security. Don't threaten them. Don't keep saying like, oh, if you fail this project, our company will disappear and you lose your job. What will happen to your 3 children? Don't threaten them. People need to feel secure, that they feel wanted, needed. So please give them a sense of security in their work. But that is only the second highest need. Let's go higher. Love and belonging. Wow, these 2 words look a little bit strange in an ICT conference, don't you think? Love and belonging. Who here, without me explaining further, can somehow feel in your soul that love and belonging is important for your company to do better and better year after year? Who can feel it? Okay, wonderful. And the reason is because your employees are human beings. They want to feel that, hey, this is not just a company. This is my community. This is a place I look forward to coming every Monday morning, not because of my work only, but because my manager coaches me. My manager respects me. I want to come and contribute. I want to give 120% because my colleagues are my family members. Who here right now can feel that your company is already at level 3? That means there's love and belonging in your company. Okay? I see about 7 hands. Then the rest, please do something about it. Not resign, not resign. Do something to change the environment so that people feel a sense of belonging. Let's go higher. Self-esteem. Wow, this is amazing. There's this R word called recognition. Recognition? It's not just coming on stage, giving awards, those huge checks. Oh, we want to recognize our top salesperson of the year. No, not just that. It is the daily recognition, like, hey, wow, just now during a meeting, you did very well there. I'm really impressed. Who here has a habit of saying such things to your colleagues? Not enough. Please, every one of us challenge ourselves, okay? Challenge ourselves, regardless of our nationality, our culture, our religion. Challenge ourselves to just recognize people a little bit more. Is it possible? Who thinks it's possible for you? That you can recognize, wow, that's a lot of people. And give yourself a round of applause. That's amazing. Please recognize people. It is the little things that count, not the annual dinner and the award ceremony giving people trophy. No. People will not last 1 year if you don't recognize them every single day. Okay? And finally, wow, self-actualization. I feel like I should be speaking about this at the top of Nepal, and then with smoke coming out. Everyone should achieve self-actualization. Do you think it's relevant to your company? Who thinks it's relevant that your employees need to find meaning in their work? What, only 4 or 5? Please challenge yourself. As you can see, this is a triangle, which means as we go higher and higher, fewer and fewer companies actually do it. Do you realize that? So please challenge yourselves. After this speech, think, what can you do in your work environment so that your team, people who report to you, even your manager, can achieve self-actualization. To put simply, they can find meaning in their work. They find their work meaningful, purposeful, that it is not just for the monthly paycheck. It is actually contributing to the lives of somebody. That this ICT technology, this cabling, this telecom can actually contribute to the lives of somebody. It can be direct. Doctors directly contribute to the life, nurse, coaches, but it can be indirect. Please remind your team that they are making an impact on society. Don't just tell them the little things. There is a bricklayer friend of mine, and every day the supervisor just keeps shouting at him, "Lay brick, quickly! Put the cement, faster!" And then his friend looks a lot happier, also a bricklayer, because his friend's manager actually bothered to tell this bricklayer that he is building the Burj Khalifa So think about it. Do your employees know what they are contributing to? The impact they are making on the future? Or is it simply doing KPI, doing daily ops? We are not robots, so stop treating us like robots. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Eugene. I'm going to request you to please remain on the stage. And can we have a louder round of applause there? We need to match it to the infectious energy of Eugene himself.
Oh, I forgot to do something. Can we now make a personal promise? Can we all stand up? I would like you to make a personal promise. And this personal promise will not benefit me, it will benefit your company. My greatest fear coming here is that I speak, I entertain you, but you do nothing. That's my greatest fear. Then I would have wasted my time today, and you would have wasted your time listening to me. So right now, can I invite you? Okay, this is going to look a bit cheesy to some of you, but through my whole life, I found it to be extremely helpful to change my company. So can we all raise our hand? Raise our hand. And put it on our heart. Okay? And right now, there's no need to shout about it. There's no need to shout. Sometimes we shout and we become like hypocrites. So I would like you to whisper. Just gently whisper and make a personal promise. There's no specific statement. Okay, I'm going to say the statement I say all the time for my company, and you can copy it if you want to, or just rephrase it. Okay, so I, Eugene Seah, make a personal promise that I will treat every single one of my coaches, employees, clients, and suppliers with dignity and respect. That I will treat them as human beings, regardless of the circumstances. And I know that we will reach a win-win future soon. Thank you very much.
Thank you once again, Eugene. I mean, it's amazing, no matter how much we focus on a modern set of technology for that matter, but at the end of the day, it's the people who are the real assets. So thank you so much again. And I'd now like to invite on stage Mr. Todd Taylor, who's the President-elect BICSI, to please come forward and present a token of gratitude to our keynote presenter, Eugene Seah. Thank you once again.